There are some countries, some organizations that you should never take on. Mossad is one of them. The Israeli intelligence agency has really done some mind-blowing stuff like capturing Nazi mass murderer Adolf Eichmann from Argentina without telling Argentina about it. Mossad can do what no one else can even think of doing, like possibly bombing German and Swiss firms that aided Pakistan's nuclear program in the 1980s. And now, Turkey is all set to realize the extent to which Mossad can go for punishing its enemies. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Isha, and in this video I will tell you how Turkey's biggest Arabian ally dumps Erdogan for Israel. Let's begin. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is working on an agenda, consolidating Turkish influence in the entire Middle East with the aid of mercenaries and militias. He went as far as supporting a violent Islamist regime in Libya. Erdogan wants to keep winning favor with Libya and pursue his political Islam brand in the North African country, but now he is facing a stiff enemy, Mossad. Media reports in Saudi Arabia and Libya have claimed that Mossad director David Barnea and Libyan Prime Minister Abdulhamid Dbeibeh had met recently in Jordan. They reportedly discussed normalization and security cooperation. According to the reports, Abdulhamid Dbeibeh asked the Jewish state to assist him in staying in office during the pre-election transition period in Libya. In return, Libya may help Israel sign another Abraham Accord, this time with Tripoli. Earlier, there were reports of alleged contacts between some Libyan politicians and Israeli officials. Last November, Israeli media reported that Libyan politician Saddam Haftar, son of Libyan warlord General Khalifa Haftar, flew to Ben Gurion airport and met Israeli officials. Again, reports had suggested that Haftar had offered to recognize Israel and establish diplomatic relations in return for the Israeli military and diplomatic support of himself or his father. It was also reported that Saddam Haftar had been in contact with Mossad agents in the past. However, an unnamed official in Haftar's campaign had said, "It's still too early to discuss a normalization agreement with Israel and how that would look. First of all, General Haftar has to actually win the elections, and we are certain he will. As of now, though, we have no interest in bringing the issue of future relations with Israel to the agenda because the Libyan public harbors traditional and structured hostility towards it." Transition PM Abdulhamid Dbeibeh and Haftar are considered rivals, and both of them are seemingly trying to impress upon Mossad officials. Of course, both the camps deny having anything to do with Israel because of the public sentiment and religious extremism in Libya. But the big question is, why they are trying to win favor with Israel? Well, Libya is presently going through a transition period. Last year, Libya's government of national unity came to power. The GNU is a neutral power. It was formed as a part of an international mediation effort to end the armed conflict between the internationally recognized government of National Accord and Khalifa Haftar-led Libyan National Army. The GNU, however, is an interim government and will stay in power till the elections. Both the Haftar father-son duo and interim president Abdulhamid Dbeibeh want the same thing: political power. I mean, this is what all politicians actually want, so it isn't really a surprise. But being politicians in a war-torn country, both of them need external support for survival, and this is why they are looking at a competent power like Mossad. Turkey has been trying to reduce Libya into a client state of sorts. A puppet regime in Libya helps Erdogan achieve his ambition of controlling the resource-rich Eastern Mediterranean. This is why Turkey supported the radical GNA in Tripoli, whereas other countries like Russia, Italy, the UAE, France and Egypt supported the Haftar-led forces. But with the GNU coming to power, geopolitics dynamics changed. Winning favor with GNU became more important. Erdogan tried to embrace the GNU and even invited interim Prime Minister Abdulhamid Dbeibeh for a visit to Turkey early into his tenure. However, Mossad seems to have caught Turkey by surprise with the latest reports of a meeting between Abdulhamid and David Barnea in Jordan. Khalifa Haftar was always likely to choose Israel over Turkey because of his commitment to fight Islamist extremism and eradicate jihadist forces from the region. Turkey is the hotbed of jihadist militias, so Haftar couldn't have relied on Ankara. So, the two main rival camps in Libya are now banking on Israel and Mossad. This leaves little breathing space for Turkey in war-torn Libya. Turkey's biggest Abraham ally has thus ended up dumping Ankara for Israel.